Hey YouTube, it's the Heart of the Woman 888. So today I came to talk about sacral energy, your sacral chakra. Your sacral chakra is your sexual. It's located in your abdomen and your bottom parts, your sexual parts for men and women. So I felt the need to come up here and tell people how important it is to protect your sacral chakra. Um, a lot of people are religious and a lot of people are spiritual. I'm spiritual. Either way, religious or spiritual, there are just some things that just remain the same. And protecting your energy is very important, okay? And people seem not to understand the importance of your sacral chakra, you know, and how it carries energies and it takes on energies. So when you have sex with somebody, you know, whatever is going on with them, it lingers on to you. And me being a woman, I have experienced those things with men, and it is not a good thing. And you also have people who have sex with more than one partner, and it could be in the same week, it could be the same month, whatever. Those entities carry on to the next person. So say like I got a man, and me and my man we have sex a lot or whatever. My man goes and cheats or whatever, and I'm depressed or I'm an angry person or I'm a negative person. Those type of things carry on to the next person. So while this man is laying around sleeping with different women, he's carrying my energy to those women. Now, luckily for me, I have good energy, so it's not like, when you lay down and have sex with somebody who has good energy, when you get up, you feel good. You know, a lot of times when you lay down and you have sex with somebody, it feels incomplete, and that's because their energy is not matching with yours, and it's not good energy. You could be satisfied sexually, but mentally you feel like, damn, something is just off. Why I don't feel like completely satisfied from head to toe? And the reason being is because people are not cleaning themselves. They're not cleansing their minds. They're not praying. Um, Me personally, I had a situation at one point in time in life where I was, well, we'll say this. At one point in time in my life, I did not mind, just, I didn't mind if a person was married or if they had a significant other. It didn't bother me, because I felt like, especially like after you go through different hardships and stuff, heartaches with love and relationships, some people just feel like, all right, I'd rather just have fun. We can chill, hang, have a little freaky freaky, and move the fuck on. But it actually doesn't work that way. And the longer that you stay in those situations with those energies, the longer you have to clean yourself from those energies, you know. So a lot of times, say like you sleep with somebody and you say, oh, well, I ain't feeling whatever, and you meet somebody a week or two later or a month later, and you start sleeping around with them, and you haven't cleansed your mind, body, and soul, you know, the same shit that was on you rubs off to the next person. And it's nasty out here. Not just STDs on the surface, but you got 3D STDs, which is just worldly STDs, and then you got 5D, which is, in the godly realm. So every STD does not mean that you are uh, need to go to the doctor or can go to the doctor to heal it. Spiritual STDs, you have to go to God to get those things healed, and a lot of people don't know that, so they walk around carrying somebody else's, you know, energy on them, you know, and wondering why I'm moody, wondering why, my blessings are blocked, or things is just not working out my way. And it could be just the simple fact that whoever you're sleeping with is not in a great space with God, or whoever they're sleeping with is not in a great space with God. And if that's the case, they're infected too. And that right there is like a spiritual STD. And a lot of people like myself in the past felt like, it's no ties when you don't have a commitment. But every time you lay down with somebody, there's a tie shared. It's a soul, that's your souls are being shared. And yeah, it's all right, to get your freak or get your little jizz off or whatever. But the consequences behind that linger and last so much longer. So much longer, to the fact that I'd rather not have sex until I feel a person's energy at this point in my life. Um, and not everybody's energy is upfront. A lot of people wear masks. A lot of people come in and be a certain way, and make you feel a certain way that be full of shit. But it's up to you to pray about it. You know what I'm saying? And ask for clarity, and it surely will come. It surely will come. And the quicker, they have this saying, like, if you get on a train and you miss your stop, the longer that you stay on the train and continue to ride the train, the longer the trip is that you have to get back on another train to ride back to where you're supposed to be. So, of course, we all make mistakes, and nobody is perfect. You know what I'm saying? But if you use your intuition and you pray about things and pray for clarity, you don't stay in those situations long enough to where you got to cleanse your whole soul for 4, 5, 6 different years. You know what I mean? Unnecessarily sitting alone and dealing with entities that you attracted from somebody else that you didn't even deserve. You just want to have a good time, clearly. And I've changed a lot. you know I'm not the same person that I was a year ago. I'm not the same person that I was 7 months ago, you know but that doesn't mean that I'm automatically cleansed of the things that I took on, before those things. And that's okay. You know, when you aware, being aware is half the battle. Because then you can take steps and precautions to fix things, to make things better for yourself and the people around you. You know what I mean? Um, Going back to me saying that I used to not care, like, about if a person had a wife or, all of that extra shit. When I'm there, I'm number one. It is what it is. Yeah. Now, my take on that is totally different because I could say all that shit, but the things that I'm dealing with is not number one top tier type shit. And that's being real with yourself. And a lot of people is not being real with themselves. And still, to this day, I attract, even though I push out a lot of positivity and I push out to the men that, are around or whatever in my space that I'm not with none of that shit, I still attract the same type of spirits. The men that, you know, are in relationships and then want to also have their cake and eat it too. And, you know, being greedy, it gets you nowhere. And I blocked a lot of my blessings by stepping into realms that I should not have been in. Because when you know yourself and you have self-love and self-awareness, you know better than that shit. And although I wasn't doing it to hurt nobody's feelings or be it, intentional with it, like, oh, fuck bitches and all that. No, it was more about myself, but really wasn't, because at the end of the day, I'm the one that suffers. And I say suffer meaning carrying all these different energies that have nothing to do with me. I could be feeling great and all of a sudden I feel like shit and I can't explain why. you know And that's because I was sharing my energy out with people that I should not have it. You know, um, I was on TikTok, and I was talking to somebody on a live, and we were talking about the same situation. They had brung it up, but they really couldn't get with my feng shui because I'm spiritual and they're religious. And to me, I don't take that personal because God gives us all opportunities to choose what we want to do in life or believe in life. And of course, I believe that my way is the best way because it's the best way for me, you know. Um, but I feel like it separates religion and spirituality. They have differences, but there's a lot of things that remain the same. No matter what you call him, the Most High, Divine, God, Jehovah, whatever you want to call him, it's only one of them. Okay, that's the one thing that remains the same. Protecting your mind, body, and soul remains the same. The same. There's no rules that somebody can give me about my body, mind, and soul that I have to follow if it doesn't fit suit with what lines up for me. You know. And back to blessing blockers. I noticed that when I stopped, like, cause my fiance, when I'm in a relationship, I'm in a relationship. I'm all in. I'm not saying that I've been perfect in the past, and I've had to deal with my shit for not being a upstanding person as far as relationship things go. I've lived and I've learned past a lot of that shit. You know what I'm saying? But being single doesn't mean that you just go and fuck on anybody. Excuse my language, but it's the truth. Because just because you're single, what that mean? You don't care about yourself? That means that you shouldn't protect yourself. And I'm not talking about condoms. That's something that's automatic. I'm talking about mentally. You know, um, I'm talking about your sacral chakra, that coochie, that wing that y'all have. You know what I'm saying? A lot of men sleep with a lot more women than women sleep with men, and it makes them feel like they're shit because they taking on so many different energies. But at the end of the day, all of these things catch up to you, whether you're a man or a woman. And when I say when I stopped thinking like, you know, having these no strings attached situations is cool because with love I went through some hurt and pain and I ain't want to do that no more. I ain't want to be in love no more. And that's fine. Which, I feel like we all deserve love. We should not sell ourselves short due to things that we have been through or, you know, trauma, because for me it was losing my fiance. And even before that, I still had the same mindset where, I ain't, hey, you can have your girlfriend, you can have whatever it is. I don't give a fuck about even what her name is. Like, as long as we having a good time, that's what matters. But it's not the shit. And when I tell you, ever since my mindset's changed towards that and I stopped doing that, so many of my blessings, so many of doors have opened for me that I didn't even know was waiting. It was sitting there waiting for me. Like, when you gonna wake up and you know, protect yourself so that way you can live more of a peaceful, prosperous, joyful, abundance life. And people take abundance as money. Abundance is being blessed in all areas. When you got all of that, who needs money? That but that's another conversation, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, you have people who are religious and people who are spiritual, and I'm not forcing anything on anybody. I just want everybody to be happy, protected, and live a peaceful, prosperous life. You know what I'm saying? Is live it up as much as they can, because life is very, very, very short. It is very short, and unfortunately, due to my past, I still have, men that are attracted to me that have significant others, and I mean, it would be great to make it one isolated type of situation. But I mean, it's like an abundance of men. Like they just keep coming with it. And then, what kills me is when they tell you I keep it real. You know what I'm saying? I'm being honest. So that's what separates me from the other person that, had a wife or a girlfriend and didn't say nothing. How is that? How is that? Because to be real with you, do your girlfriend or wife know that you out here dipping and dabbing? Does she know? Because if you keeping it real means that everybody knows, right? The person you with, the person that you going after, everybody knows. You understand? Keeping it real. To me nowadays, I don't think people know what that is. For me, I rather respect than you keep it real with me. Respect me. Because see, when you respect me, you handle me with care. When you keeping it real with me, you think you can just say what you want, and because it's your honesty, it's okay. It's supposed to be okay. No, no, I don't want that shit, and I don't think y'all should want that neither. Respect me. I want respect. Okay, loyalty, love, all that stuff. I want respect because see, with that word respect, it's a whole bunch of stuff that comes underneath it that aligns everything like it's supposed to. Okay. And like I said, I'm not perfect. Like, I have to acknowledge the fact that I have made bad choices and that I've effed up in life. You know what I'm saying? Even with me sleeping with other people